Hi everyone, Chris McLean, Peak Performance and Transformation Coach here. And today and over the next couple of days, we're going to look at, not surprisingly, friction. We're going to look at several high performance tools, mechanisms to enhance your performance within your business, within your life. And for the next few videos, we're going to do a quick series on friction. And this is a really great one because there's several ways we can leverage friction to improve our habits, to optimize our business, to optimize the way we work every day, and to really dial up our performance. So today specifically, we're going to start with removing friction. And this is one aspect of how friction operates in terms of our habit protocols, in terms of enhancing our lifestyle so that we're more high performing, so that we're getting into a peak performance state as regularly as possible. So what is friction? Fairly obvious, friction is something that's going to, it stops something from happening smoothly. You think of friction on a surface, you've got a nice smooth surface, and you add some friction, the things that are moving on that surface, it's harder for them to move. So friction works the same way when we're talking about habits and performance and the things we do every day. So removing friction works really well when we're trying to do something, right? We want to add a positive habit. We want to have some positive behavioral change. We want to move in the direction of something new, maybe something challenging, something that we want to add to our lives. If we want to add something, a really good way to get there is to actually remove the friction around that thing. So in terms of a habit, a good example of how we can remove friction and where friction exists is, say you were, the gyms have just opened back up here in Melbourne, so you're starting a new exercise routine. You haven't really worked out before, you're adding this new habit to your life. It's important to you, you really want to get it done. So you want to remove as much obstacle as possible to make that change as easy as possible. So the friction in that scenario is, you wake up in the morning and now you've got this new habit. You've got to get to the gym, right? You've got to put your clothes on, you've got to find your shoes, you've got to get in the car, you've got to drive somewhere, you've got to get all the way to the gym, and then you've got to do your workout. What tends to happen, that whole amount of friction at the front end of that process, even before you get to the gym, I've got to drive there. And before I've got to drive there, I've got to get my gear together. I've got to pack my bag, I've got to put my shoes on, put my gear on, all of that stuff. These are all friction, right? These are all potential places that the process can fall over. And because this is a new habit, we're training, and in training something different, the more points of friction we have along that process, the harder it's going to be to stick with that process and stick with that change and make it permanent. And this is where habits fall over. This is January the 7th, right? You've joined the gym, New Year's resolution, you've gone for a week, and then your habit starts to fall over. And friction is one of the main reasons that happens. So in that same scenario, how can we remove friction? How can we leverage friction to make that habitual change easier for ourselves? So sort of a few things there, right? We've got to put our shoes on, we've got to find our clothes, and we've got to drive. So looking at all of those things, the first thing we can do to remove friction is put your shoes out the night before and have your clothes ready to go. It's very, very simple, but it reduces what we call cognitive load. There's less to think about. If you get up, your shoes are there, your clothes are there, they're ready to put on. It reduces that friction of, oh, where are my shoes? Where are my clothes? I can't find anything. Well, I can't find them, so I'm just not going to bother. We want to get rid of any excuse making. We want to eliminate any possibility of not doing the habit when it's new. Because once we do the habit for 20 days, 30 days, 60 days, it becomes habitual and where it's easier for us to do. But particularly in those early stages, we want to remove as much friction. We want to eliminate all of the hurdles possible so that we can get in and entrain that behavior into our subconscious, right? We want to be able to just get up in the morning and go to the gym. But to do that in the initial phases, we need to remove all of the obstacles. So that's a quick example. If your shoes are out and your clothes are ready the night before, when you get up, there's no decision. You get in, you get dressed, and you get in the car and you get to training. So in that same scenario, perhaps it's the drive, right? The driving to somewhere might be a point of friction. So maybe you've tried it for a bit and commuting and getting stuck in traffic and having to go somewhere becomes a point of friction. So that might be something that, again, we might want to look at. So can we train from home instead? Can we sign up to a personal trainer on Zoom, right? Can somebody train us remotely? Can we not, if that part is becoming the friction and we get up, we're motivated, we got our clothes on, but driving and going somewhere is stopping us and that's creating an excuse. Maybe we have to find a closer gym, right? Is there somewhere we can walk to or run to or cycle to? So getting into that exercise modality before we get to the gym. Or can we swap it out and we can work out from home? Can we do some home-based workout instead? So you can see that, and this is a very basic example, but this happens with any new sort of habitual change, any new habit we're trying to add. There's all these points where it potentially can fall over. And I'm sure you've experienced that yourself, where you want to do something, you're trying to entrain these new behaviors, and you hit an obstacle and you sort of start to self-sabotage yourself. You make excuses. Oh, well, driving there is too hard. I can never find my shoes. I can never find the right clothes to wear. So these become blockers, and it's all in our own minds. But because we're literally trying to recode our neural networks to do a new thing, we're going to fight ourselves, right? Our brains are energy conservation units. They don't really want to add new behaviors, and that's why change is so difficult. So we want to make changes as easy as possible, as simple as possible, and removing friction is a really great way to make sure that we're not getting in our own way. We can get to the thing that we want to do, and that we're going to get there easy, and it's going to lubricate that process so that we can actually achieve the goals that we want for ourselves. So that's it for today. I hope you got an idea of where you might be able to remove friction in your life around new habits, something you want to do, goal achievement. Find the things that are blocking you and make it easy to get through those things. Don't let those things become excuses. So tomorrow we're going to look at another aspect of friction, and then we'll have a third part coming up on the following day in this 3-part series on friction and how we can leverage friction to live a high performance life. Hope that was enjoyable. Look forward to catching you on the next video. Cheers guys, bye.